Hello there, this is Niles Geek from my amazing reading couch, and we continue with the Free Comic Book Day comic books. And we have this today. We have the Buffy the Vampire Slayer / Firefly comic book from Boom. You have to know that my place is a very dark, very foreboding house. So this is the only time the sun actually hits it, and you can see the sun over here. It's spring, it's hot, and instead of going out in the sun and having fun, I'm here talking about comic books because I'm such geek. At least it's on my parent basement. I'm reading this one, so yeah, whatever. We have Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly, and I really like both those series. So both of those series were created by Joss Whedon of the Avenger movies and Justice League movie, and they're both very popular geek shows. If you've never heard of them, what are you doing in this channel, for God's sake? So let's start. The reason I got this one from the pile of books is pretty obvious. It is because I like the series, and I was curious about I was really curious about how good will those stories be. I've pretty much missed Buffy, and I know there's a new Angel series coming out, and I was hoping, since he's on the cover, that we'll get a little sneak peek on the new Angel books, but we didn't. So let's see. We have 3 stories in this one. We have a Firefly story by Greg Pak with artwork by Ethan Young, and we have 2 Buffy stories, Frenemies, by Jody Belair with Dan Mora and Sergey Cunan artwork, as well as preview of the first issue of Buffy the Vampire Slayer by Jody Belair and Dan Mora. So let's start with Firefly. Firefly, for those who don't know what it is, it was a late 90s sci-fi space opera series created by Joss Whedon. It was a space western. It was about a bunch of very colorful characters who are in a spaceship and they have various misadventures. It was a series nobody watched, so it was cancelled due to low ratings on the 13th episode. And yet, nowadays it's considered a cult favorite, the favorite series of many geeks, and really, it was great television. It was probably the best series Joss Whedon ever did. So, in this, as I've told, Firefly had a lot of very beloved characters, very colorful characters, and this story over here features exactly 0 of them. It's a story about a sheriff on a planet who goes and meets this woman who is a badass, as you can see. She's a war veteran because there was something like a civil war in space. Actually, Firefly is a story. It's a space western. It's about the American Civil War in space, and the characters were all on the losing side. So we have this woman, and the sheriff asks her to help him deal with some outlaws. And let's skip forward to the end. We have to be continued in Firefly number 5, and I'm really confused because I picked up a Firefly comic out of nowhere just to see where exactly in the continuity it is, if it's after Serenity, if it's in between Firefly and Serenity. Serenity is the movie that continued the Firefly saga. What's the status, which characters does it feature? Instead, I've got a filler story, a backup story, which ties to the main series, and I'm not sure hard if I will give Firefly a try. And then, to add more to the confusion, we have the Buffy frenemy story. Here we have Anya. In case you don't remember Buffy that well, or you never watched Buffy, Anya was a character. She was a demon who became a human being, became Xander's girlfriend, and she had a magic store. And Anya is one of my absolute favorite Buffy characters. I think she's great. I really like seeing her here because I like her misanthropy. So, what was I saying? Oh yes, Anya. Anya is here. So yeah, bullet points. And here we have Buffy. And her appearance makes her look really cool, really badass. I like her. And then Anya and Buffy talk. And even though they've spent 4 or 5 seasons together in this TV show, right here it seems like they don't know one another. Anya doesn't know Buffy, Buffy doesn't know Anya, and I'm very confused. And let's skip forward. Here we have Angel. And Angel is another of my favorite characters. He had his own show, a spin-off show called Angel, after Buffy 3rd season, and I really loved that show. It was, I think I preferred it to Buffy. It had a very different vibe, but that's totally another video about Buffy and Angel. And here we have Angel and Anya meeting each other, and Angel doesn't know Buffy. And I'm really confused about what the hell is happening. I mean, I know that the previous Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, I think it was IDW, was a continuation of the show. It was season 8 and went on, I think, to season 10 or something. I don't know, I lost track somewhere halfway through season 8, but it was a continuation of the series. And there was also a comic book series I've read. It was Angel After the Fall, I think, which continued the Angel after the cancellation date. So here I'm very, very confused about what the hell is happening with Buffy, because characters who should know about each other, they don't. Is it another alternate Is it an alternate dimension? Is it amnesia, magic amnesia? It's definitely not a prequel, because Anya had an antique store after the 4th season, I think, of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So it makes no sense at all. But here we have a preview of Buffy number 1. And here we start with Buffy working in a fast food joint. So yeah, she's definitely a teenager. And here we have a couple, and she saves them from a vampire. And if you see the couple, that's Xander, that's Willow. And they're both characters from Buffy. They're her best friends, the Scoobies. They always help her in her adventures. So it's pretty much obvious that this Buffy over here is a reimagining of the original series. And actually, I'm now interested because, yes, it looks to be a cool comic book. At least this issue and the tie-in to Buffy number 5 and Angel number 1. I'll definitely give Angel a read because I like the writer of this one, and probably I'll try to read Buffy because I really miss that girl. I haven't seen the Buffy show for years and years, and if they do a competent job, I think I like it. So if you like this video, please like it. There are other comic books coming up. I think the next video will be about Stranger Things and Doctor Who. So if you like this video, or if you're interested in watching the reviews for this Tumon, please subscribe, and you'll see the new videos on your feed. Thank you very much.